Hello, this is Greta Ross, and in this segment of the conference, we're going to be talking about change, the process of change, cultivating habits to accomplish necessary growth for empowerment. Cultivating habits to accomplish necessary growth for empowerment, change. You cannot stay the way you are and change the way you are. Let me say that again. You cannot stay the way you are and change the way you are. Every living organism has to change if it's going to grow. This is true for individuals, teams, couples, any type of organization, even society as a whole. Essentially, change means letting go of the old and encouraging the new. To develop something new, that something will become something else, so that we don't end up where we started. So let's talk about the implement of change. Each of us have our hopes, our dreams, our goals, our aspirations. We have things in life that we aim for. We all have an agenda. However, let's consider that change also means that our aims, our goals, our desires, our aspirations are also going to change. Because the goals, the aspirations, the aims that we have currently in life belong to who we are right now at this moment. So if we want to change it to a new you, then you have to change the goals, the aims, the mindset, the goals, the aspirations, all that whole process has to change as well. Of course, that means that if we hold on to those old goals, the old aspirations, the old dreams, and the aim stays the same, then that means that there's no growth. That means there's no transformation. That means there's no expansion. So honestly, if you really want to grow, you must be willing to become someone different. Your ideas have to change. Your beliefs have to change. Your experiences will change. You cannot stay the way you are and change the way you are. You have to become a new creature. Now, this is backed up in Romans 12, 1 through 2. In Ephesians 4:22 through 24, we can also find scripture that will back this up too, becoming a new creature. Now let's talk about giving up me. Change means that we have to allow the old ideas, the old belief system to die. We cannot change the way we are and stay the way we are. So that means that we cannot keep that same mindset. So let's think of it this way. Let's look at it as an attitude of allowing, if you will, allowing something new to emerge. Because realistically, you can only direct your consciousness and who you are and what you desire right now to be as far as your future only according to the blueprint that you currently have, which is your same aims and goals and mindset. All that has to change. So the blueprint is going to have to change. So you're going to have to be open for that. You also have to be willing to eliminate barriers. When you experience change, you have an open mind. Of course, this requires a certain amount of trust. Now, when I say that, what I mean is I'm not talking about trusting any person or anyone. I'm talking about trusting the process itself. That transformation can and will happen, and that it will be good for you and it will be the best thing for you. So like I said, trust is not necessarily trusting in anybody or any theory, or it's really about trusting the reality. trusting trust itself, because you have to be able to trust the process. And that takes time. That takes time to mature and to deepen. It's not like it happens overnight. But the more you trust, the less fear you'll have. Because I think one of the biggest things that we have in reference to change is the unknown. We don't know. But the longer we go and the more we trust, and the deeper that gets, the deeper that trust gets, the more the walls will break down. Because right now you have the walls up because you don't trust that the process is going to actually work. So you can't get over the wall, you can't get under the wall, you can't get around the wall because of the trust issue. So learning to embrace an attitude of allowing is a part of trusting the process, because that's how we grow. Because there's no restriction. There's nothing but freedom. And that is the one thing that is going to get us from where we are now in the fear to change. So now, one of the other things that I really want to talk about, because I think it's going to help in the process of change, is understanding some steps. Because, people will say, well, you need to change. But how do you do that? I mean, does anyone really sit down and say, here are steps, take these steps in order to see the results of change? We hear change, we hear people say, well, we just need to change this, or we need to change that, but it's not that easy because we don't know how to. So I'm going to give you some steps that I think will benefit you in the process of change. So here are 6 steps. So first, let's examine that the first thing we need to do is to recognize the unwanted behavior that is going to give us some steps into helping us change. So we have to recognize the unwanted behavior first. And then we have to ask ourselves, what do we want to change? And then we have to ask ourselves, why do we want to change? And now here's a question that you probably wouldn't think to ask yourself, but it is something that is very relevant in order to be able to get to the source of the why and what it is that you want to change. And that is, how does your life as it is right now, how does it serve you? How does your life serve you right now at this moment without the change? Without even considering the change. So until you identify and understand the purpose of your behavior, change will be a little bit difficult. So here's some strategies that I like to leave with you, some steps to help you with the process of change. Number 1, only change one thing at a time. I tell people all the time, you can't eat a whole elephant, one bite at a time. So if you're looking to change something in your life, keep it to one area, especially if you're looking to rework your whole entire life, your current life as it is. You want to change a lot of things in your life, but don't try to change too many things at one time. Focus on one thing, get that under control. Let it become a habit that you've developed, and then cultivate it. So focus on one thing, just one thing at a time. The second thing that you need to focus on is identify why you need to change, because that's very important on why you need to change. And here's why it's important, because when you identify why you need to change, this will help you during the times when it becomes challenging for you and you want to quit and you want to give up. Because your why is important. You can always refer back to your why. Why am I going through all this? Why did I decide to take this action? Your why will help you to stay focused during your challenging times, because change is challenging. But understanding your why will help you to hang in there. That's why it's important to understand why you have to identify why you want to change. Now, the third thing is understanding the behavior and how it serves you right now. And I know that sounds strange, but everything in life has a purpose. So the things that you're trying to change, think about how it serves you. Now, this can be difficult to believe that unwanted behavior can actually help you in some way. That the unwanted behavior can actually help you in some way. So let me explain that. Even though it's helping you in some way, doesn't mean that it's good for you, because what that behavior is doing is it's helping you to survive day to day. That's how it's serving you. It's helping you to survive day to day, but what you actually need is change. You don't need to survive, you need change. So rather than to survive day to day, you need to focus on these steps so that you can bring about the change. So let's look at number 4, which is to sit with the discomfort of change. Now, this is going to also help you with number 3, because when it gets difficult and you want to turn and say, I can't do this anymore, this one's going to help you to understand, to sit with the discomfort. Because the discomfort of change, once you focus on the discomfort, it will let you see and give you an understanding of why you're in this. What is it about this situation, this change, this one area that you're trying to, why is it so uncomfortable? That's why you have to sit with it, because you have to understand why it's so uncomfortable. And once you understand and you get an understanding of why it's so uncomfortable for you, then it will help you to continue with the change. Number 5 is going to be taking baby steps. You can often change your behavior if you do it in smaller segments, if you will, because it set tangible goals, but just break it down to one bite at a time. Okay, take that one bite and just deal with that one bite and cultivate that. So let's say that you want to change your eating habits, that this is going to be the first start of you saying, hey, I want to become healthy, but I wanted to start with my eating. So instead of revamping your whole entire meal plan, start with something small, like adding cauliflower to your meals, or taking in more fruit, or increasing your water intake. Do something small and accomplish that one goal. Allow it to become a habit, and then cultivate that habit. And then you can move on. That's why it's important to take baby steps. Because if you're trying to do it all at one time, it's going to become overwhelming and you're not going to stick with it. And what you want is permanent change. So once you develop the habit and you cultivate the habit, more than likely it will become a permanent change at that point. And that's what you're seeking, is permanent change. So take baby steps. You don't need to take giant steps. You don't need to eat the whole elephant at once. Take baby steps because you want permanent change. Then number 6 is going to be, don't look at time limits. And when I say that, what I mean by that is set your goals, set your aims, but don't put a time limit on it in reference to saying, well, in 6 months, I want to lose 100 pounds, or I want to lose 100 pounds in 100 days. I'm not saying that it can't be accomplished. What I'm saying is, don't put a time limit on it to the point where you're going to be under pressure to where you're getting close to your deadline and you know that you're not meeting that deadline, but yet and still you feel the pressure of that. but you want lasting results, permanent results. Everything is so microwavable now. Everything is quick, okay? When I gained 117 pounds, it didn't happen overnight. So I couldn't expect to lose 117 pounds overnight or even in 6 months, because it took more time for me to gain 117 pounds. We're going to talk about that after this. So going to the extreme of trying to set a limit and not meeting that limit, you're gonna get burnt out. So go at your own pace. Don't go according to what other people are doing, what everyone. Go according to your pace so that you can accomplish the goals that you're trying to set out to set, that you're trying to accomplish. Shifting our behavior takes time. So we have to be patient and realize that it also takes practice. You have to be cautious of practicing this behavior. It just doesn't happen. You have to practice and know that you have to be patient with yourself, because you can't change who you are and stay who you are. So you have to understand that change is a process and it's not perfect. But you have to be in progress in order for change to happen. So now let me share a little bit about change for me and how I think that it will help you. I think that if you want to change your healthy lifestyle, the one thing that you could do is get out and go for a walk. And what you can do is very simple. Anybody can do it. Walk outside your door and walk 15 minutes in any direction. And then come back home. And then you've walked 15 minutes. You've walked 15 minutes in one direction, 15 minutes in the other direction, and now you just accomplished a 30-minute goal of walking 30 minutes a day. So if you want to be able to really accomplish this goal, then add your prayer time to this. Now, I'm sure that you probably pray longer than 30 minutes, and that's okay. But to start off, walk 15 minutes in one direction, pray, walk 15 minutes back home praying, and then not only do you feel better, but you feel lighter because you've gotten some things off your chest that you wanted to talk to God about anyway. And you're going to start to feel better. You're going to start to see some results. So it's a lifestyle change. But what you're going to do is, if you do that every day, 15 minutes in one direction, 15 minutes back home, and you accomplish that and you do that for 30 days, now you've developed a habit of walking 30 minutes a day. So let's say that now you have more things that you want to talk to God about. So now you're going 30 minutes in one direction, 30 minutes back home, and now you just walked an hour. So you see how easy it is to develop that, because now you're adding your prayer to that and you're accomplishing walking an hour a day. So imagine doing that every single day, or at least 5 days a week. So if you could commit to that and just start off slow, start off small. You don't have to try to eat the whole elephant. Just start off small, accomplish that, cultivate that, and then you can move on to the next thing, which is looking at shifting your diet a little bit. Now, when you look at that, don't look at the whole elephant again. Look at changing small things, like, again, adding something to your meal that you're not used to eating. Increase your fruit or increase your water. Take one small thing at a time. Accomplish that goal, and then you can move on to something else. But do it in small segments and small bites, because then you have formed the habit, you've cultivated the habit, and now you can move on to the next thing. So the next thing you know, your whole lifestyle has shifted and changed. And your goals have changed, your aim have changed. Everything that you set out to do, you've been able to accomplish it. And more importantly, it's become permanent. So if you could change, cultivate habits to accomplish the necessary growth for empowerment. That's change. Stay tuned. We're going to have a live Q&A coming right up after this video. Thank you so much, and I hope that these tips have helped you to accomplish the changes that you are looking to change in your life.